Hi there, I'm Alina Hemingway, and this is my very first project in Super Collider, entitled It's a Love-Hate Kind of Game We Play, because technology. So when we very first started this class on interactive electronic music, we were learning from some of the greats in the genre, like Grandmaster Flash and Pamela Z and Laurie Anderson. And this was the first time for me hearing from any of them. So I had some pretty big stars in my eyes, and I got some pretty grand ideas of what. So I had some pretty big stars in my eyes and some pretty big dreams about what I could do with this technology. And the main idea that was sticking in my head was something that I learned about in my first undergrad called head-related transfer functions. And these are essentially how our brains use differences in amplitude and timing to localize sound in space, anywhere. And when Dr. Eaton told me that you could do this in Super Collider, I was so excited. I went on a quest to figure out how I could make the best music there has ever been with head-related transfer functions. To make a very long and frustrating, and I'm not gonna lie, tear-filled story, a little bit shorter, I couldn't get them to work. And although that was a bummer, I did learn a lot in the process, and I hope to be able to get them to work in the future. I'm really, really close. So at any rate, I channeled all of my frustration and angst about this program into a little song called It's a Love-Hate Kind of Game We Play. So once I had this nifty little poem here, I had to figure out, how do I turn this into a song with the skills that I actually have? The main thing that I've learned about this program and all sound processing technology really is that everything is going to take roughly 100,000 bajillion times longer than I expect. So starting with a huge goal and trying to stick with it is kind of problematic, actually. So what worked was starting really simple. And I thought, okay, if I'm gonna make a song, if there's gonna be a rap, I need to make a beat. So I went to YouTube and just looked for beats in Super Collider. So there are actually some really great beats available to play with, and I was able to get them to run in Super Collider. Unfortunately, they were just a little bit too plug and play. Like, you've got the code there and then you just hit enter. And this is a class on interactive electronic music, right, Dr. Eaton? So I decided to make a beat myself. I did that by pulling my voice in through the microphone, my sound in through the microphone. Then I added a little bit of reverb, so that the drums would sound more like the vocals eventually would. And then I added a delay so that I could manipulate the speed of the beat a little bit, and sounded something like this. Kind of cool, but also not quite cool enough. So I was about to rip the earphones out of my ears, and all of a sudden I hit the microphone right here, and it sounded awesome. So I figured I could just play it. And then I added some other effects. It got very exciting and accelerated. That's how my earbuddy beats were born. And I think they turned out pretty well, although I'm not great at playing them yet. I hope to get better in the future. As you can see, I had to manipulate the delay time here and here so that they would match the tempo that I wanted for the piece as a whole. Also, I wanted to add in a pitch shift to give a little bit of interest to the sound. Here on the reverb, I made a huge room size so that it would have that craziness. And also I hardly used any damping, so that it would just kind of continue feeding back on itself. So next, I wanted to add a little bit of harmonic interest that would be interactive as well. So I made this sort of bass sound from a couple of different sine tones and a sawtooth wave. And what I did here was I used the same frequency variable for all of these, and it's determined by the mouse Y position on the screen. Then I multiplied each of these frequencies by a different ratio that equals a musical interval. So I was able to make a chord. And let me record this and you can hear it. As I move my cursor around the screen, if you can zoom out a little bit, that would be great. As I move my cursor around the screen, the pitch changes. So in order to get the pitches that I wanted, I created a graphical score over here. And this is my A. These are the pitches that I used in the song. Unfortunately, it was really, really difficult to play quickly and accurately, so I ended up using this kind of swooping motion that I think sounded pretty cool in the final product. So finally, I just used the simple reverb that I created up here to record the vocals, and then I pulled those into Logic using this file converter right here. And then I just layered them to the high heavens, as you can see in my sweet Logic file here. Ooh, exciting. Finally, I created a crazy effect to go on my voice. It really just went crazy. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Let me try it one more time. Record. It's a love. It finally did it again. Oh my gosh. I haven't been able to get it to do that for like a week. Oh, that was awesome. All right, sweet. Well, we know my code works, so that's good. That was so awesome. I cannot think of a more perfect way to end this video than like a crazy serendipitous moment like that. I think I figured out what happened. When I was trying to recreate that sound, I didn't have the microphone close enough to my face to create that intense feedback loop. But this time I did, and there we have it. Now I know how to do it again. Yay. All right. Whew. So, yes, it is a love-hate relationship with Super Collider and music technology in general. But for now, I made a demo of what I think could be a pretty cool song. And I'm excited about that. I'm embracing it. And even though there are moments where I didn't get everything to come together in Logic, and it kind of feels like the song's gonna rip apart halfway through, that's all right. I kind of dig it. I'm really looking forward to learning more about this awesome program and practicing more with that earbud drum thing that I created and getting to use the head-related transfer functions, especially with that like swirling bass. I think that could be very cool. At any rate, this has been a great class. I really enjoyed learning about this stuff, and I hope you guys all enjoy my piece. Thank you so much.